Good morning. Good morning. We are back with another pre market broadcast. Hopefully, everyone had a good night's sleep and that you are ready to go forth in the new day. It's hump day. It's Wednesday. I know already. Can you believe it? Where is the time going? It seems like we don't go through days anymore. It's like a day is a week now. You wake up tomorrow and a week has passed. It's like Rip Van Winkle every time you go to bed at night. So, as you see here in front of you, this is our new format that we have been promising you. We have a new schedule, we got new formats coming to make your life so much easier. You have no idea the irons that are in the fire. So on your top left, you see the live trading meetings with yours truly, the Algo Capitalist Dex, aka the Vulcan. We're going to have our members learn how to use the post wave reports with me every morning from Monday through Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard New York time. That's going to be Dex's Pro Bullpen when all of our pro members at our trading room, you can go ahead and click the link and be on with me live. And then when we're done with that section, you stay in the live chat trading room with me. This is a special place for pro members. And what's going to happen is at 9:15, we're going to do our daily traders morning setup show. And that will run from 9:15 until about 9:30, 9:35. Then we'll take a break and we'll be back at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Outside the Bots podcast, specifically on Rumble. There it is. I told you we was going to roll it out, and now it is here. But it doesn't stop there, folks. We have even more goodies for you. That's right. Frank and I have been in the kitchen cooking up a batch of our famous chocolate chip cookie post wave price trigger reports. And when you see what I have for you, trust you are not going to want to miss it. If you are already a subscriber to the post wave reports, you have Christmas coming in October. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I have some amazing stuff for you. The post wave price trigger reports have been reworked. They have been stripped down, simplified, and you would think that, hey, this is a lot less, but actually, I'm giving you a lot more. And I'm going to be doing some live tutorials with it. And what we're going to do, I hadn't even told Frank this yet. We haven't talked about it yet, but I'm telling you now. What we're going to do is for all of our Pulse Wave members, I'm going to do the live training video showing you the new format of the Pulse Wave reports and how to use it. And then you're going to see that everything that you've already learned, you don't have to relearn anything. It's just a much more simplified approach. I've been doing some things. I've been in the lab now for like a year and reworking this, and I've talked to some of the post waivers, and they've given me input, and we got it going now. And this is going to be very quick. You'll be able to see everything on one report. Doesn't matter what it is, you'll be able to see it, and it's going to be very, very easy. You'll be able to know what to do and when to do it. So, with that being said, let's jump into these markets. What has been going on? Well, I have to tell you, a lot has been happening, but at the same time, nothing's happening. I know, weird, right? Well, we got things heating up overseas, and we'll get into that a little later. But first, let's take a look at these overnight markets. So, the US dollar, we've been hearing the alarm bell sounding about the death of the dollar. And each time they say it, the dollar gets stronger. Right now, we're at 106.32, up 7 pips, folks. Yeah, I know, right? And the euro is down 11 pips at 105.85. The pound sterling is up 6 pips at 121.84. You have the Aussie off, actually up 5 pips at 63.77. Bitcoin futures down 210 at 28,410, and Ethereum futures are up 16 and a half at $1,579 even. Crude oil futures are up $1.25 a barrel at $86.69 a barrel. We have nat gas up 6 cents at $3.14. Gold futures up $25.50 an ounce at $1,961.20 per ounce. We have silver up 27 cents an ounce at $23.30 an ounce. We have copper up about 2 pennies at $3.60. We have the Dow futures off 49 points at 34,095. E-mini S&P 500 down 19 at 43.83. We have the NASDAQ 100 E-mini down 97 at 15,143 and a half. And your Russell futures are down 12.8 points at 1,765.3. Soybeans are up 9 cents at $13.06 a bushel. Back to beans in the teens. We have corn up about 3 cents at $4.92 a bushel, and wheat up 5 cents at $5.75 per bushel. Very interesting. I remember it seems like just yesterday where soybeans was $4 a bushel. Corn was $2 and change a bushel, and wheat was about $3-4 a bushel. Seems like yesterday. Now these prices have absolutely exploded. What is it? What is going on? Well, before we get there, let's do our scanning of the markets for our morning two-bar Charlie trade setups. We'll start from the top with $1 and scan our way down. And we are scanning and scanning so far. We have one. The Ethereum futures has a bullish two-bar Charlie setup for the morning, which means you can expect an all-day up day for the market to close in the green for the Ethereum futures. All right. And that's the October contract front month, as a matter of fact. Okay, let's continue to scan. So we got one so far, bullish two-bar Charlie setup in Ethereum. Let's keep scanning so we can find anything else. Okay, nothing in that one. Okay, still scanning. We almost had one in silver, but not quite. Not quite. Almost though, but not quite. Let's see. Copper, nothing. The Dow, nope. NASDAQ, nope. Uh-oh. NASDAQ. Okay, so the S&P, no, but the E-mini NASDAQ 100 futures, ladies and gentlemen, we have a bearish two-bar Charlie setup in the NASDAQ 100 futures. Yes, indeed. Bearish two-bar Charlie setup in the NASDAQ 100 futures. Now, it should be noted that the NASDAQ 100 is not pulse waving yet, all right? Neither negatively or positively. Not pulse waving yet. Please consult the pulse wave price trigger reports for that intel. Likewise, with the Ethereum futures, with that bullish two-bar Charlie setup that I gave you there. Okay, so this one is okay. This one is not pulse waving yet either. All right, and again, you have to consult your sheet for this one as well. All right, so NASDAQ 100, we have a bearish two-bar Charlie, which means all day down day expected in the NASDAQ 100, and for the NASDAQ 100 to close in the red today. So far, we got two setups, one bullish, one bearish. Still scanning. We got another candidate, soybeans. Soybeans has a bullish two-bar Charlie set up, ladies and gentlemen, which means we can expect an all-day up day and for the market to end in the green. All right, let's continue our scan. We also have one in corn. Corn also has a bullish two-bar Charlie setup, which means we can expect an all-day up day and for the market to end in the green. And that's it. All right, so we had four. We had soybeans, corn, and Ethereum all have bullish two-bar Charlie setups, and then the Nasdaq is all lonely by itself with a bearish two-bar Charlie setup. Very interesting indeed. Very, very interesting. All right, let's go forth, shall we? All right, so what are we going to be talking about today? Well, U.S. President Joe Biden is visiting Israel today. He had been due to also travel to Jordan to hold talks with Palestinian, Jordanian, and Egyptian leaders. However, the summit was canceled late on Tuesday following an explosion at a hospital in Gaza City. Today's big story, we're looking at why Gen Z and millennials banking on a big inheritance are in for a rude awakening. So, what's on deck? Well, in markets, we got BlackRock's Larry Fink making the case for going all in on stocks. In tech, we have a game changing development in how AI models ingest data. And in business, Morgan Stanley's most CEO esque candidate is also the least likely to get the gig. But let's start off with this millennial. Did you know that, unfortunately, if you are a millennial waiting for an inheritance, counting on it, banking on it, that the economy has not been friendly to your generation? From the Great Recession to the pandemic to an impossible housing market, many millennials and Gen Zers are in a tough economic spot. You don't say. But there's a lifeline down the road for some people, even if they don't like to think about it, and that's a healthy inheritance. No one wants to consider a relative passing away, but our elders undeniably are sitting on a lot of wealth. Americans over 65 hold roughly $96.4 trillion, according to the Federal Reserve. Such a substantial transfer of wealth seems like it would have a life altering effect on a large swath of the population. However, chances of that money trickling down to the people banking on it aren't high. According to ANC log for Insider, in reality, most of the money will be spent on long term care and end of life costs for the people holding it. Only the wealthiest 1% of Americans said they received an inheritance in the six figures, according to a 2019 study by the Fed. Meanwhile, people in the bottom 50% of the wealth distribution scale received an average inheritance of just $9,700. For families in the 51% to 90% range, the average inheritance was just $46,000. Ouch. And while there is better than nothing, you can say it's better than nothing, it also might be less than what people facing mounting student debt and an increasingly expensive housing market were hoping for. All right. A lot can be said here. A whole lot. A whole lot. And this is talking about how the elected officials, along with the non elected officials, of course, and government have absolutely decimated the economy. And greed and corruption have sunk it even further. Have you ever thought about this? So your parents have, six-figure inheritance money set aside for their posterity. But instead, the pharmaceutical industrial complex is going to get all the money. They're the inheritor. They're the benefactor of your parents' insurance policies. How and why? Well, how is, you can thank the Obama administration for that, when they overhauled the entire healthcare industry and turned it upside down, and then gave the insurance companies the power to not only self-regulate but also write their own laws. So this whole healthcare thing that they ran on was nothing but a power grab for the pharmaceutical industrial complex. That's all it was. And then they even made it against the law for you not to give them your money. And then if you did give them your money, they wrote it into the law that there could be a 1 year waiting period on pre-existing conditions. And they rewrote that to be as vague as possible so that any and everything can be considered a pre-existing condition, which means that by law, the Americans were forced to pay the pharmaceutical industrial complex a year's worth of premiums just for the having the luxury of saying I have insurance coverage, by really not, but not in actuality really having any coverage at all. Tell me that is the worst highway robbery I've ever seen. Jesse James and those dudes would blush over that. They had to rob stagecoaches and stuff, but the pharmaceutical industrial complex, all they had to do was, put a man in office to do their bidding, sick their lobbyists on everyone in Congress, and voila, smack enough people upside the head with a large enough briefcase, and you can get laws written in your favor. That is how Rome fell. Did you know that? That's how Rome fell. Mounts insurmountable debt followed by corruption. And that's what is going to take down the United States of America. Insurmountable debt backed with corruption. So this is where we are. They're taking the money out of the American people's pocket and putting it into their pockets. And then they jack up all of the prices for the pharmaceutical drugs. I could talk for hours on that one. But the most recent scandal was when they jacked up the cost of the EpiPens. Remember that? Charging $600 and even more in some cases for an EpiPen. A tool that is designed as an emergency alternative to save someone's life, especially someone who is going into anaphylactic shock. Come on, man. Really? Yep. And then they charge thousands of dollars for life-saving heart medication and cancer treatment. No one even batted an eye or was, everyone was caught flat-footed and oblivious when you saw all these cancer centers popping up. You didn't think nothing about that? You didn't consider that. Cancer centers were popping up like McDonald's in every neighborhood you can think about. Popping up everywhere. Why would someone go through all of the regulations and the cost and raising money to build a cancer treatment center? Why would they spend so much money to do that? Oh, I know, because they're going to get that back in the first month of operation. Well, the average cost for someone who is diagnosed with cancer is at least $100,000, and a lot more than that in a lot of cases. No wonder when your parents and grandparents pass away, they're not going to have anything to leave you, because the $500,000 life insurance policy that they did have, well, that went to the pharmaceutical industrial complex to pay for their cancer treatment, to pay for their assisted living facility, nursing home, etc. Why does it need to cost $75,000 a month to have someone in a nursing home? Come on, man, this is ridiculous. Come on. And here's the messed up part that no one wants to talk about. It's like everybody's shook to death to talk about anything because they're afraid of being canceled and deplatformed. But the truth of the matter is that it doesn't work. Have you noticed that the pharmaceutical industrial complex is not in the business of curing or healing anybody? They're just in the business of treatment, not curing, because there's no money in curing. There is no money in a cure. There's no money in healing anything. Why do you think all of the homeopathic doctors are dying mysterious deaths? They're wiping all of them out. And anyone who has a track record of healing people with stage 4 cancers of all types, oh, that person's either going to be suicided or die in some type of horrific accident that is some kind of freak accident, or they'll just be marginalized to obscurity, where the FDA will come in and shut them down and arrest them or whatever they got to do to put them out of business. And if they can't put you out of business, then that's when they put you out of business. Wink, wink, hint, hint. That's what it's about. That's what's been happening. And no one says anything. The people say nothing. No one bats an eye. No, there's no marching and protests over all the homeopathic doctors that have been murdered and suicided. No one's picketing in the streets for them. That's who you should be picketing for. That's what you should be doing. Protesting that. Because that's life and death. If there are life-saving alternative methodologies and treatments go undiscovered by the masses because the pharmaceutical industrial complex doesn't like competition to its murderous drugs that it gives people, the way that they treat cancer in America is so archaic, so Middle Ages, Dark Ages, medieval period medicine. But you're not supposed to talk about how the fact that their treatments kill more people than it so-called helps. Did you know that? Most people who get the diagnosis do not live to talk about it. But then they say, oh no, they just lost their battle with cancer. You did not lose your battle with cancer. You lost your battle with the poison they were shooting in your veins. That's what happened. But they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to, you're not supposed to talk about that. They say cancer is the leading cause of death. Cancer is not the leading cause of death. The treatment for the cancer is the leading cause of death. But you're not supposed to talk about that. So anyway, I digress. BlackRock's Larry thinks that you should be betting big on stocks right now. The CEO of the world's largest asset manager said investors should be putting 80% of their portfolios into equities and hard assets, like real estate. One reason for a more concentrated investment approach: people are living longer and must tolerate more risk to support themselves. Okay, so let's break this down. Again, misinformation, disinformation, it's nauseating. Okay, so they want you to think that BlackRock and Larry Fink are just the most genius people in the world. They got the biggest hedge fund in the world. They're just so amazing. No, they're not. When you are a part of the secret society, of course they're going to make sure that they control everything and attract the most money. You think he's a trader? He's not a trader. These people don't trade. These people control the market and manipulate the market. They become the market. They are the market. And you think they want you betting against them and trading against them? No way, Jose. That's why they have to talk up their book. The reason why they're talking so positive about real estate is because recently it has been discovered that they've been buying up most of the residential real estate on sale in America. Yeah, so of course they're going to talk their book. Of course they're going to say, yeah, you should be buying up stocks right now. They don't mean equities, period. They're really talking about those REITs, those real estate investment trusts. That's what they want you to buy. Of course they do. Of course. They'll tell you, yeah, you're going to get rich if you get into real estate right now. How are you going to get rich? Because you're going to be selling to them. Flip that house. Yeah, but flip it. They want you to flip it their way. Again, monopoly. I thought America was so anti-monopoly. Then why is BlackRock allowed to exist? No hedge fund should have $1 trillion in it. Whose money is in there? And don't say, well, it's just the 1%. Yeah, let's put a face on it. Let's put names on it. Let's talk about all the CEOs and Fortune 500 companies and foreign entities and pretty much all of Congress, including the White House and the presidential cabinet. Not supposed to talk about that. Well, why younger people should start investing like boomers. Many analysts believe that yields on treasury bonds will plateau, having spiked in recent weeks. That means now might be the right time for younger people to invest in an asset class that's traditionally been favored by older Americans. Mortgage rates won't stop climbing. The average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage hit 7.92% on Tuesday, its highest mark in 23 years. It's the latest bummer for a housing market that now stinks for both buyers and sellers. But wait a minute, just a moment ago, BlackRock was telling you need to get in there. See what I'm saying? Misinformation, disinformation. What should you expect from Tesla's earnings? Well, the EV company recently slashed its car prices multiple times and fell short of expectations for vehicle deliveries in a third quarter. So all eyes are on the company as investors focus on profit margins and demand outlook. Another big boost for AI models, a Google researcher along with a Databricks executive at a UC Berkeley professor published a research paper detailing how to significantly increase the amount of words an AI model can handle. Doing so means AI models could read entire code bases. There's a scary thought. Microsoft and Amazon are about to cut $1 billion mega deal. Internal documents reveal that Microsoft is preparing to bring on Amazon as a major client for its 365 suite. The document shows that Amazon purchased more than 1 million seats for the tools. Yeah. Whatever. That's pretty much all I got today. Nothing else is really worth talking about after all of that. I think we have a clear picture and understanding of where things are going, do we not? All right, folks. You know what this is. You know what we do. You know how we roll. You got to smash that like button, man. Share the video with friends and family. You never know who it may encourage or help. And with that being said, I appreciate you all very much. See you in the next one. Peace.